Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cantina MX Football Podcast. We're on episode 325 with a back-to-back jornada, which we'll be going over. And the coaching carousel continues. Heads are rolling with the latest firings from Rayados and America. And the big news today, Hector Herrera has joined Houston Dynamo. But before I go any further, let me welcome my homie Joel. How we doing?
Good, Jaime. We good. Just finished watching the goats come from behind and tie San Luis.
Yeah, that was the last match of match week 8. We kind of had a double this week with games on the weekend and then today. And Chivas were down 2-0 against the team that had not won at home this entire season and had not scored at home the entire season. And of course, against Chivas, they decided to score twice. And Chivas showed some moxie there in the second half. Scored, Nene Beltran scored a beautiful goal, and Angulo did as well. 2-2 final score. And this is coming off of a very upsetting home defeat to Puebla, where we were up 2-0 and then ended up losing 3-2. So Leaño is he's on the hot seat.
Yeah, somehow I think he stays until the end of the season.
That's a hot
I don't
take.
see just because how he arrived, you know.
What, in Mauri's front pocket or what?
He no, just the influence he has in the club,
Yeah.
and it'll just look bad to remove a coach like Wuse, who might be having a job pretty soon, and then just to get sacked the same way. I think if they do, it would be like at the end of the season. I don't see him leaving like through the back door.
I don't know, man. As of late, there's been a lot of firings going on. Starting with Guerretaro getting rid of their coach. I think they were the first ones this season to get rid of their coach. Leonardo Ramos was fired and replaced by Cristante. And then we had Caixinha fired from Santos because of their elimination in the Conca Champions League. And then we had Aguirre fired after a poor performance in the World Cup. And then the latest casualty was Solari from America. So
Yeah,
I feel like with Chivas and Leaño, who was, he lost, what was it, 1, 2, 3 games in a row. Looked like it was about to be a 4th defeat in a row today. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe he still has a job at the end of the season when all the coaches I just mentioned have better resumes.
yeah, and some of these firings are premature, you know. Just how the
Absolutely.
league operates. We tend to forget these are half seasons, you know, so things always look worse than they really are. And 12 place can still get to Liguilla. And we've seen those teams many times go in there and have a good tournament. So yeah, I do feel sometimes these firings are a bit premature, but part of it is it's just the politics, you know, the Liga politics that I think you have these agents and promoters that are very, very influential. They pretty much build the teams. Like they have a big say in who comes in and who gets to play and whatnot. Uh, that's why, like, sometimes you see fans saying, how come this coach keeps getting hired? How does this guy keep getting jobs? And it's because they're just connected to the right people.
Well, I mean, let's take a look at the numbers here. America, as of tonight, are dead last, 6 points in 8 games. Yesterday they played against what was it? I just had it. Querétaro, and they tied. They were actually winning 1-0, and then they conceded a last minute penalty, and Querétaro ended up getting a draw, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. In America, and right now in last place with one of the most expensive, sides as far as salary goes. And do you think Solari deserved it? I felt like
No, I don't think they even let him build his team. He didn't get a chance to do his own thing. So that makes it difficult, very similar to Buse, where he never had a chance to do his team. He just lost players. Each season he would lose 2 to 3 players. Um, and so that made it difficult for him. So I think with Solari as well, was he allowed to build a squad? I don't think he brought that one player. That's full whatever, Fulgor, whatever his name is, and the Spanish guy. And I think that's like, was that the only dude he brought in?
yeah, and they did get rid of a few players, with Cordoba getting poached by his ex coach Piojo. So
So
they did lose some some players, some hitters.
yeah, and but see, look, because I know James looking bad. They're in last place, 6 points, but they're only 2 points away from 12, which is liguilla or repechaje. Let's call it
Oh,
what it is.
jeez.
And
God, when you say it
five
like
point
that, it's just that's so bad. That's so
and
terrible. One,
and
you're
five
telling
point.
me a team that's only won one game this entire season is 2 points away from making playoffs.
No
Oh,
repechaje, the wild card.
por eso estamos
I
como
mean,
estamos.
five games from eighth, uh, which would be five games, 5 points from eighth place, or 6 points from fifth. 6 points, that's just 2 games. 2 games, 2 wins, which can happen. We've seen it.
Oh my
We've seen it
god.
happen. A team could just go on a 2-3 match winning streak and they're back. They'll catapult back into
That's
mid table
crazy.
or upper mid table. So I think fans get carried away because the media will chicken little this, the sky is falling and everything is bad, and so yeah, the fans get carried away. But
I think
picture of the league, it's not as bad as it looks because a lot of these teams they're quite even. Well, we've talked about this before, how it's not like the old times when teams that sucked throughout the whole season. Now you have teams that, like Puebla, can, because of this no cap on foreigners, they can build stronger teams, and it's gotten cheaper. Players have gotten cheaper, and so they could go to South America and pick up some find some gems in the rough, and you end up like Puebla that has one of the best teams right now. They moneyball their way into the top, and that's what we're seeing now. Um,
well, they have a great
and
coach.
that too, but I mean, they've gotten some players that are like really good. They're not just you know randoms.
I mean, I'm looking at the squad. There's no one that really stands out to me. It's just one of those, like you mentioned, Moneyball teams. They got a right. They got the right coach at the helm.
Their goalie plays for the Paraguayan national team.
Antoni Silva. Yes, he does.
He's up there in age, but
He's
that just means he's very
38.
experienced.
Yeah.
You know, you have a player like that over Coutinho. You know, it's a big difference.
And
Not
Gudinho
not to
has
knock on
European experience.
and not to knock on him, but I'm just doing the comparison. You know,
Yeah.
when we're looking at like experience. So this guy just has a lot of experience playing
I
just
you
throughout his
know,
career.
when you look at this squad that Puebla has, I start salivating of the idea of having this coach do something at a big club. No disrespect to Puebla, but with all these firings going on around the league, obviously candidate number one is going to be Nicolas Larcamon.
Yeah, there's already rumors, but we'll see. I don't think he's leaving this season. Let's see what he does. I do think if he has a good season, he doesn't necessarily have to win, just be in Liguilla and put a good performance. I do think the big teams are ready to start knocking on his door. But you know, the squad overall is not as like weak as it seems. But that's that's part of the whole no cap. It used to be 3 to 5 players. Now you could bring 10 or 12,
Yeah.
and so each season, if they bring that many or even half, I mean, you improve your odds at getting some good talent. Um, and that's where we're seeing the opposite. That's hurting like Chivas that they can't find players, you know, because teams don't have that many. They're going to South America. They don't really. Why are they going to spend 2, 3 times more on developing youth? That's no guarantee when you could get a player that's already, you know, that's been polished.
Yeah.
But so we're seeing well, just really quick,
Yeah.
we're seeing for Chivas, the transfer is like it's like trying to find toilet paper during the when the COVID hit, and you go to the stores and the toilet paper was gone and the water was gone, and that's Chivas Mercado de Piernas. You know, they show up and there's nothing there, man. It's empty aisles, and but that's
Yeah.
part of it, and the selection is the other part because that means less players in the national team, for the national team to choose from, or to or to make it more competitive. You could be, people are still clamoring for Vela. And it just shows lack of talent. That's why you'll see Guardado, still there at 30 something, and he's still one of the main guys where he should have been like third or fourth, you know, on in line.
He's 35. Still in Europe,
Yeah,
unlike somebody else we're about to talk about later. Um, but like you mentioned, with Chivas like having really not too much to pull to pick from, that really hit home today because Paulo Yirzar, he's a player that was playing in the second division for Dorados and had a decent had a decent going. By decent, it meant 6 goals and 19 appearances, and Chivas decided to buy him with the intention of using him for Tapatio. But because obviously the striker pool right now is pretty low, they ended up moving him up to Chivas today, and he actually got some minutes. So yeah, I mean, we're over here looking at the second division strikers, man. That's pretty bad.
yeah. There's really we've used Ramon Morales as an example. Chivas got him from Monterrey as backup. He hadn't really played much. He wasn't really known, and he ends up being a beast. He just needed a shot,
Hmm.
and 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 there was other players like that they were just there and they had they would ultimately end up getting a chance at a club because there was more openings. Now there's like very little.
Yeah, with so going in order, Aguirre getting fired with Rayados. Monterrey are currently sitting in 17th position, so right above America with 6 points. But the difference with Rayados is because they did have to go abroad for those Club World Cup matches. They're actually 2 games behind right now, so they've only played 6 matches. So theoretically, like you mentioned, they can win those 2 matches, go up to 12 points, and all of a sudden they're in 5th place.
And I think that team would have, and with a coach like Aguirre, they would have. He's been in way more tense
Yeah. Uh,
situations. He was in playing real relegation in Spain with Osasuna, where it's like none of this porcentaje crap. You're the bottom three. You're
mhm.
you're out. So but I think Monterrey fans, they see their club as one of the big teams in Mex, which they are. So they have these bigger expectations,
Money wise,
and they no start.
Rayados. What have Rayados won? They haven't won a league in over 10 years, I think.
they let's take a look. Come on, Jaime.
Oh, I'm
Let's ask
serious. I'm
Google.
serious. They haven't won.
I know, but look how many they have. It's not like they only have two. Atlas, they.
The last
Uh,
victory. Oh, they did win 2019. I'm tripping. But they have 5. 20. So yeah, they've won in 2019 and then twice in or 2010 and then 2009. They did win a
and
lot of
then
Conca Champions
Conca Champions, and
with
then maybe.
yeah. Um
I, but see, this is the recent championships. You know what I mean? Going back
yeah.
to like the last 10 years. So for the past 10 years, they've been one of the main teams. And I know a lot of fans probably never will consider them grandes, but then they're stuck with some of these other teams that aren't really doing much. But sooner or later, these teams are gonna, if they stay at that pace, they will like surpass or catch up to the so-called grandes. And I do see them on that road. I don't see them slowing down.
I do
They've got this.
because they just announced Vucetic as the coach replacing Aguirre.
He's their most winning coach.
Yeah,
That's
but
you know
man,
King Midas.
I cannot believe Rayados with a clear conscience said, "Yeah, you're the right man for the job." After seeing what he did at Chivas.
What? You gonna start a fight now, Jaime?
Come on, man.
You mean he took Chivas to the semifinals?
Oh, stop it. He
He
he did
did he
that.
not?
That was
Did
that
he
was
not?
we dude, that was like dumb luck, man.
Don't
That
coming
was
from a cousin with multiple championships.
that was that
I
was
don't know,
three
man.
that was three chicotazos. That was that was
Hey,
that was all chicote, bro.
he took him to the promised land,
Yeah, he did
and
that
I
off
think he.
off the cuff. He did that like on a season that he came in after 10 I got fired, but after that,
Hey,
man, it's
but
been
see, look, they never got in players, and they just removed players.
yeah. No,
See,
I
come
mean,
on,
I'm not
man.
I'm
This
not I'm
is
not doubting I'm not doubting like his merits. Like he is obviously King Midas for a reason, but let's be honest, like for the last what? I mean, what was his last legit accomplishment?
Querétaro. He won the
The Copa
the Copa
MX.
MX,
That was
which is their.
2016, dog. That was 6 years
That's,
ago.
yeah, but I mean, he's at Querétaro, which is not like a
he probably had
very
his best
strong
run.
team.
He probably did have his best run at Rayados. That was when he won the two leagues and the 3 Conca champions, and that was over 10 years ago. So, I mean, with Rayados getting rid of Aguirre to try and see if there's anything left in this relationship with Vucetic, I mean, it's pretty depressing, man. I would have just kept Aguirre at that point, to be honest.
Yeah, but the fans have become toxic. They expect You
Yeah,
know, they're expecting Monterrey to play,
the fans were
you know,
definitely something else, man.
tiki taka. They want fancy football. They wanna be crushing it.
Well, they picked the wrong
I don't
coach.
think.
They picked the
Yeah,
wrong coach.
I think they'll forget though if he wins
Vucetic
with
is
them.
just gonna park
If
the
he
bus, man. He's gonna. I feel bad for Funes Mori and all the strikers they have because they're just gonna be on the island waiting.
Well, we'll see. Let's see what happens, man. I have faith in Buse, and I'm glad he's coaching. He's one of the best coaches in the league. So I think I wish him the best,
He
and I'm
was.
happy that, and I still think he is, man. You know, like his resume, we can't just like sweep it under the rug because we didn't like how Chivas was playing. Um, I think I'm glad that you know there's been more Mexican coaches because when it started, and I think up until last season there wasn't that many. So having Buse at Monterrey, even though he replaced another Mexican, Piojo at Tigres, Leaño at Chivas, we have Nacho at Toluca. Who am I kidding? Jimmy Lozano, he came to Necaxa.
Yes, sir.
So we're getting more and more coaches, which is a good thing. So I'm glad for that. I might be missing one, Jaime. I might be missing one more
You said
name.
Leaño already?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. I was looking at Vucevic's numbers with Rayados: 240 matches, 114 of those were victories, 69 draws, 57 losses, 1.71 points per match. Not bad. After that, he went to Querétaro and had a weird. Well, actually, no. He took over Mexico for 2 matches, and then he went to Querétaro and did okay. 1.45 points per match. And then at Chivas, 45 matches, 1.51. So, I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while since he's had a good project, but man, I really hope he can turn things around at Rayados because I mean, they do have quite an expensive payroll. They have a lot of great players and it's unexcusable the way they're playing. So, we'll see what happens. I don't think he was the right man for the job, though. I'll tell you that.
You don't think Buse?
Nah.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I think this guy called out Ronaldinho on his shit. So I think none of these. They're saying there's divas. I don't know. I don't really keep up with the Rayados, but if that's the case, I think he can do it. Although it didn't seem like he did it at Chivas, but at the same time he wasn't afraid to not play with players, you know, to leave them out, and so I like that about him. Um, we'll see, man. I wish him the best of luck, Jaime.
I wish him the best of luck as well. And yeah, that's the coaching carousel at the moment.
You said Solari already, and yeah, it was unfortunate for him. He was already in the hot seat. He's about to get his win, and the penalty. I think it was an OT. Um, Regardless, just not being able to win, and the fans were quick to gang up on him. And this is the America fans too. That we've been talking about America, how they have been a club that for a while they haven't been able to bring in like a really good player. Like their last that you could say were like refuerzos bomba, and they used to be the club to bring these internationals. Man, they had like
Yeah.
Piojo Lopez, you know, the Argentine, uh, Ivan Bam Bam Zamorano, dude, coming from Inter Milan, dude. Just they would bring in these sick players, man. When they had Galusha and Bijik, they would just bring in these really top players, and they really just haven't. They just been bringing in. They brought in Ochoa, which is he's good, but I mean, not surprised he came back home.
Yeah.
Um, they brought Jonah, not really up to, just because they're players that were on the decline, not really like up to what they've brought before. What the type of players they've brought in in the past. And so I think that's been hurting them. Just that you see these other teams, Cruz Azul, Monterrey, Tigres, just getting better. They get better refuerzos, and that's the one thing where I think fans have turned on Santiago Baños. I don't know how much of it's his fault because he could be operating on a limited budget or restricted as far as like what they could do. So, but I know this guy is also on the hot seat. I know they're talking about an interim coach. I know Bielsa's available, Jaime. I
Oh,
don't know. I don't know if he'll come to Mex,
that's right.
uh, but
Yeah.
Bielsa has coached America before. Uh, but Bielsa's the type of guy that he's not gonna be working under Baños.
Biesla unfortunately
He
got
he
got fired from Leeds United, but Joel, actually, the rumor that's going on that's very strong is Juan Carlos Osorio.
yeah, Osorio. Um, which surprised me it's taken this long. I thought they would be back sooner. He's in Colombia. I don't know. I think the money's right. He would come back. I do think he's a good coach. I just think the media at one point attacked a bit too much. But I've said it. It was just because how he. I think it's because how he talks. You know, tries to be like a football intellectual, and I think a lot of the fans and a lot of the media just didn't like it. I think if he talked like those Colombian cartel guys, I think that
Plato
he
plomo.
he he I think he would be he'll be one of the favorites. He'd be like marica, hijo puta.
Yeah.
He just curse people off because that's what I know it sounds stupid, but that's what Aguirre and Tuca did back in the day. They would use cuss words and they would call some of the reporters not in a effed up way, but they would call them on their shit. And early on in their careers, as they were known for that, and their press, the press box thing used to be a big deal, man, because they had fun, and so that just meant they were always getting positive press because all these journals, they just, they loved interacting with them.
Yeah. I will be pretty curious to see who America ends up with. I don't think they would have made this drastic decision without maybe already having someone in mind. But we'll have to monitor that situation very closely. I am also curious to see if Leaño makes it to the end of this weekend. It's a double jornada, but Chivas America is not too far away. And
Well, that's the thing, Jaime,
what's up?
because I think that's why I'm saying he wouldn't get fired. There's a chance he could step out, but I don't see him getting fired. But like you said, it's a doble jornada, and I think if I'm not mistaken, it's followed by two clásicos.
We play Santos on Saturday, and then America, and then Atlas. Yeah.
There you go, man. And to bring in a coach for those games, that's suicide.
Yeah.
That's suicide, man. This is in
Well, we
Real
did
Nash
it.
Wednesday.
We did
I'm
it
gonna
last
make a
season.
religious quote. This is Leaño's cross to bear now. Um, who they bring? Refresh my mind, Jaime.
Before the Clásico last time, we fired Vucetic, remember? And we brought him in.
Leaño?
Yeah.
But that was Leaño because he was already in the club.
Yeah.
Um,
So, I mean,
that's the exception. And I should clarify because I don't think any coach worth his salt would want to come in under those conditions, and especially in short season format. That's like suicidal right there. All your club's playing like shit, and I'm gonna start my career at your club up against your two big rivals. And if you shit the bed, that's it, dude. You don't live it down. So I don't think any coach would really want to
you imagine
come in on.
you imagine that job interview. Hey, so we need you to manage the ship. Oh yeah? Where are we going? Well, we need you to do it right now because we're about to, go across the Atlantic. And it's like, what, dude? Like, I'm not ready for this. But yeah, if you don't remember, Leaño's first game as the coach was against America. Yeah. So Chivas have a history of firing their coaches before a big game.
Yeah, and I think a big reason Leaño took over was because he was already at the club. I can't remember, especially two back-to-back games, Jaime. Not back-to-back, but two, yeah, back-to-back games
Uh-huh.
that are clásicos. I just can't.
Yeah. What I will say is Pelaz did not look too happy over there in the palco in the suites. He was watching the game. Again, it's always kind of concerning when you see the uh the president on the road with the team. It's not doesn't mean that things are going well if they're going to the road games.
I think Pelaez does though. I think Pelaez would always follow the team. Pelaez's thing was that he was more involved. He
Yeah.
had to take a back seat though. That's the other thing. When even when Buse was there, Pelaez would go in to the locker room and give talks,
Wow.
and he was always like doing that, just have his presence there. Um, and so I don't think this is something he does with Leaño.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And so that talks more about where this is at. And we've talked about how Leaño came in because he's related to the Martinez, owners of the owners of Akron, who right now are Chivas' biggest sponsor.
yeah. Speaking of sponsors, if the Russians want to sponsor Chivas, go right ahead. They just lost all their sponsorships in Europe, man. And
Man,
even Chelsea's owner has decided to sell the club. So, hey, we could use some investment right about now. But
he'll probably buy it back. He's just selling it for now because of all the
yeah,
negative press on Russians.
it's like a
You
political
wait,
thing.
wait a couple years. He'll come back to save the team. no,
Yeah.
no one's gonna care after a while.
I do want to talk about a coach that is doing things right. He goes by Guillermo Armada. The name should sound familiar because he was Santos's coach. Then he got fired. Now he's at Pachuca, and boy, has he turned that place around. They're in first place right now, 19 points, handling business. They took care of America. They took care of Atlas, and they're just winning right now.
Man, well, not bad.
Makes Santos look silly because they're not doing so well, and they've already fired their coach.
Ah, yeah, but Santos, we've said it. Grupo Orlegui, their other marvels are now in the Atlas.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what they're betting on. Um, they know they're not getting that type of love at Torreon, man. They just won't. It's a small venue, and it's gonna stay small
Uh,
unless many things change. But I think just being in one of the, the big cities, that's
Um,
that's like the exposure he's been wanting.
Yeah. And then another note with Tigres, man. I was watching that game before Chivas. It was actually one of the really that was probably the best match of the week. Tigres were up 2-1. Gignac and Juan Pablo Villon. But then Cruz Azul came back and ended up tying the game at the very last minute. Really, really good play by Santiago Jimenez, the son of Chaca Jimenez. He had a really good game and set up the assist for the game winner.
Chaco, don't you mean Chaco?
What did I say?
Chaka.
Oh yeah, Chaco. Sorry,
Okay, I was like, okay, is this another something going
Chaka.
on?
I mixed him up with the Tigres player.
The
Yeah,
player?
yeah.
All right.
No, but he's doing well, and hopefully he gets maybe called up for the upcoming match against USA because Funes Mori isn't scoring goals, and we need strikers, and he did get called up for the friendly in Austin. So
Yeah, I do see him coming in to the selección sooner or later, you know.
yeah, what I will say though is, boy, after watching so many Chivas games, what refreshing it was to see these two teams. Like I can I can clearly see a level of difference between like the top teams right now and like the bottom teams. Like there's a clear line. Tigres and Cruz Azul are both playing really good football, and it really does hurt to see uh, Antuna and Mayorga over there at Cruz Azul. I honestly felt like we got the better or the worst end of the deal with.
Hey, wait, wasn't Chiva fans hating on Antuna, saying how he sucks? And
As much as he sucks, he still scores goals. And Piojo, I think, has only scored a
and,
goal for us.
and
And
gives assists.
and Antura's been scoring, man, and he's been definitely being he did miss a penalty the other day though against Santos, but um I don't know, man. You're always gonna think about it like is the grass greener on the other side, but good for him. As far as Mayorga goes, he's not even playing, so it really did feel like unnecessary to throw in a 2-for-1 deal. But
Yeah, well,
yeah, Tigres, man, they got that little short manlet. Jefferson Soteldo, man, he's raw, man. He's the real deal. He's doing a great job. And they have, I mean, when you look at Tigres' bench, bro, they're better than our freaking starting lineup, man. Like their bench is like Hugo Ayala, Linchovsky, Cordova, Soteldo. They have Cocolizo, bro. They have Diego Reyes, bro. Their bench is better than our starting lineup, man. It's
Diego
just,
Reyes' bench.
I know.
Isn't he the seleccionado?
No, not he hasn't been in a while. Ever
But he wasn't he, for a while?
he won the gold medal with Mexico.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Reyes is the type of player that in other teams he would start.
Um.
Send him our way, dude. No, he was America, but
Tigres are stacked, bro. But yeah, they're doing great. They're in third position. They should have won today, to be honest. They had way more opportunities to win the match. Gignac tried to be a little bit fancy, tried to do a scissor kick, and in the end, that ended up costing Tigres 2 points because Cruz Azul ended up tying the game last minutes. But
yeah,
they're,
and Jaime.
huh?
Well, these are teams that are both favorites to win. You're pretty much watching a team between candidates for the Liga.
I do think that experience is going to play heavily these playoffs. You look at Pachuca, you look at Puebla. It's cute; they're doing a really good job in the regular season. But I think when it comes to Liguilla and that whole you lose, you're out. I think they got rid of the away goal. So I think like if Pachuca or Puebla do go on a deep run, it will be because of their regular season standings. If they end up going through on a draw, it'll be because of what they're doing right now. So I think if you're Tigres and Cruz Azul, yeah, you're looking at the rest. Like America's not in it, Monterrey's not in it, Chivas aren't in it. all the usual
Chivas
suspects.
hasn't been in it.
Well, I mean, it's just like right now is their time to like, really win. I think they could win.
Yeah, and just looking at their bench in a long season format, those will be the teams that would separate themselves from the pack, just because they would be able to handle injuries and other issues like that. That's where Chivas is pretty weak. They don't have a good bench. I mean, it's good for them to score 2 goals. They have Alexis Vega, their best player, was suspended for 2 games.
Oy,
Said on some supposedly he said some nasty things to the ref, uh,
he
and it
did.
can't be appealed. There's no appeal, I believe, but he should be back. I forgot to ask. I know we talked about Chivas, but JJ Mack, did he play?
He started. He got about 60 something minutes. Did absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
And
well, I watched till the end. I watched like the last minutes. I
yeah,
didn't.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe what exactly did he learn in Europe? Maybe nothing, because he was he had like one or two. He had like three chances today. To be honest, one of them could have been a penalty. He got brought down in the box. He had another one that yeah he should did a first time shot. Instead, he tried to cut in and put on his better foot. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's just he's just rusty, man. He's just out of form. But right now, with Saldivar being injured, we literally had to call up a player from Tapatio to off the bench because we don't have any other strikers.
yeah, and this is the thing, and like you said, like what did he learn in Europe? Because that's the big belief now. Because it's better to go abroad and you can learn and become a better player. And he's come back, and it's like basically to me was a bit of a step back because he had very little playing time, and so I think ultimately to me that's the most important playing time. Um, you could be in Real Madrid, but if you only play 2 games, you know, with not doesn't compare to a player playing the full season and then some, including cup and whatever games. So I mean that's the whole thing. We've seen players that come back and they're not necessarily improved. We've said that about Godinho, and I mentioned this because that's the disappointment right now with HH. He's
Oof.
going to he's going to Houston, is it, Jaime?
Yeah, they were talking about that. What game was it? I was watching one game over the weekend, and they're like, "We got some hot news. He's gonna go to Houston Dynamo." Oh, it was actually during I think it was during the Champions League or something. And I was like, "Yeah, whatever. It's not gonna happen." And yeah, they announced it today officially. He's going to be joining Houston Dynamo as a designated player. I believe the transfer won't go into effect until the summertime. So for now, he's an Atletico Madrid player who are currently battling in the Champions League and in La Liga. But yeah, Achach is going to the MLS at the age of 31.
Yeah, and I know some fans are disappointed. Others are saying his level is going to lower and it's going to affect him going into the World Cup. And that's where I have to call bullshit. That belief that people have that if you play in this league, you're better. It's like, what is it founded on? Like, show me receipts because I'm not buying it. I know it sounds, you hear it and it sort of makes sense but it just doesn't play out like that. I think if you're a professional, if you take things serious, you'll do good no matter where you're at. And I think Ibra is a good example of that. Ibrahimovic came to MLS. If I'm to believe all these rumors, he should have ended his career there. He would have turned into a dud, but he stayed like 2 seasons. And then he goes to Milan, even older, and he's still playing good. And but that just shows like it's the mentality part. If you're still there, if you're still, if your mind, like Vela, he's still doing good, and I have no no doubt if he were to go to any other league, he would do just as good. But for some reason, I know fans like to hate. I'm not saying you have to like the league, but that belief that, oh, because all of your players are, if you go there, that you're just gonna suck. I just don't. I don't buy it, man. I just don't.
I think the biggest concern for me is Tata Martino has said on record that he finds Herrera as Mexico's best player. So here's a coach who thinks that Herrera is our best player, and now he's going to be playing in the MLS uh, during a World Cup year. The World Cup is going to be in December this season, so I don't
Well,
know,
look,
man.
Herrera and Salcedo, right? Salcedo went to Toronto.
Yeah, but I don't think he's been called up anymore.
He's not. He was at one point. Shame. I think he's a good player. Um,
Yeah, as of right now, I don't know if we are have called upon any MLS player. Uh, at least,
no, I mean, well, one of them is vetoed with his cheek, and the other one is retired himself from the national team. But those
yeah.
two would, any other circumstance, and they would be they would be there. They would be both part of the national team. I just don't buy it, man. I just don't buy this whole because you're there, you sucked. And I've seen like, oh, these players go over there and then they suck. And then they pull up examples. But you know that saying, if you want to look for something, you're going to find it. The same goes the other way around, where I've seen players that went there and they leave and they still do good. You just talked about Juan Jaime the Calla Tigres.
Reyes?
Yeah. No, no, the manlet. I
Oh,
shouldn't be calling
Jefferson.
him that. There you go. I mean, I don't think he sucks. He was in MLS. The other guy was John Vico. Did he suck? What about they had did he come? They had a player, a Brazilian that was in the Galaxy that went to Tigres.
A
Can't
Brazilian.
remember his name. Yeah, it
Carioca?
was.
No.
I think it was. He was a defender, I believe. But regardless, you know, if you want to look for negative stuff, you're gonna find it. And if you want to, because I saw even on Twitter someone saying how the Chile team, the national team, sucked because a lot of their players ended up in Mex.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, if you want to see it that way, but then there's all these other things happening that you can ignore. But the team going into '98 had a lot of players in the '98 World Cup. There was players from Liga MX in Chile, and that team did well. Um, and I think it was their first time qualifying in a while, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they went to 90, 94. And I don't think they were in 86 or 82. So I think that was like the first time for Chile qualifying in a cool minute. And they had a few Liga MX players. And same with Paraguay. Paraguay, had also a good bulk of their players.
Yeah.
And that's another team that went and did good, not just not just at the World Cup, but even to do good at the World Cup qualifying. That's also impressive. So like I said, it's these people looking for excuses. I just think a lot of fans just want to hate.
Yeah.
Which is fine to hate, but after a while you don't want to start sounding ignorant.
Well, I will say that the when the announcement came through and it made it official, I'm really disappointed for Herrera. He's only 31. I felt like he still had plenty of time in Europe. Granted, maybe going to Atleti was not, the best idea. Um, this you're talking about a guy who was indisputable at his time at Porto. I mean, he was like the captain, and to go from that to being a bench rider at Atletico, I mean, obviously It's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
for him to just say, "All right, I'm gonna go get my paycheck now."
Well, I
Um,
mean, you have to eventually, Jaime. I mean,
yeah,
if no
but
other,
I think
but see, it's
he should take an example from Guardado. Look at how many opportunities Guardado has had to go back and retire, but he's 35 years old and he's still and right now Betis are in a really good position. Yeah, they're in the Copa del Rey final, man, and like he's still out there like competing, and it's just like I don't know. I
well,
feel
I don't know exactly with Guardado and what I would like to see if what offers he had received, and that's something else that we don't take into consideration. But what if Achache got a juicy offer, man?
oh, I'm
Maybe
sure.
Guardado never got that
No,
amount.
he's definitely
But
gotten it.
I don't know. I mean, I would like to hear it from him if there ever was. But if he likes being over there, then that's cool. But I think for a lot of players, they have to think about you know, their family and life after, football. And if no other European team is gonna give you that, because to me it's also like, okay, what are you worth? What do you feel you're worth?
There
So
was yeah, there was a rumor about him maybe going to Atlanta. There's a rumor about him going to Charlotte. There was a lot of rumors of Guardado Austin, I think,
they
but
did they talked about that the I think, was it the president, someone from Houston talked about how there was all these teams, other teams from MLS interested, and that him choosing Houston was like, they were glad he chose them.
yeah. And there's also a rumor, and this day is just getting worse that Diego Lainez might join him.
Well, it's not like he's. This is the thing. Unless he has all these offers, all these clubs knocking at his door, that's how fans like to act sometimes. They want the player to be limosnero. Will be there begging, being thirsty. I mean, if clubs aren't looking for him, I mean, if he wants to be the Ochoa route, go and knock at the door of these really small clubs and see if they're willing to take a shot at you. Uh, for what? Just because to say you're in Europe? I don't. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? I think if clubs aren't valuing you, I'll go with the one that does. If maybe the league's not what you want it to be, but they're gonna treat you like a star and give you that nice paycheck. It's up to him to stay at a good level. If he just says, "All right, fuck it," you know,
of
throws
course
the
the
towel
level.
because he is.
I think the level will drop though. Maybe not like I think there's just a huge difference, right? Um, the mindset. Like you're going out there. Obviously, like our players in Europe are not getting minutes because it's so competitive and because it's harder. So you're gonna go to a league where it's easier. You're gonna be given everything on a silver platter, and you're getting paid a lot better. And
But see,
and the opposition isn't as great. I don't know how that will translate to once you go in the World Cup and you're playing against these like world class players. You're just gonna be out of rhythm, out of form, because you're not used to playing at the highest level anymore. But I don't know. I don't know if it's affected us ever. Like we've had players that would come in like Giovanni, and he wasn't getting minutes, but he would always come through for the selección. I think with Herrera, he's like gonna be the captain of Mexico, and he's still our best player in the midfield. And I don't know if it'll affect. It might even help him because he's gonna be playing every game. But yeah, it's just the timing of it's not ideal.
well, it's not like he's 31. It's like what, he's gonna learn shit. You just gotta stay in good shape, and you'll still be at his level of play. And that's the other point I want to make with this whole Europe thing. I saw many games, Mexico games back in the days when it was, you had maybe just one player in Europe or two. And this Mexico team will go up against teams from South America with their best players in Europe, or European teams, and they did really good. You know, they would play toe to toe, on occasions even outplay and yes, even beat these teams. And so it's like, well, how are they doing that? You know, how are they doing that if they're playing in Liga MX and according to this talk, then they haven't reached their potential. They're not as good as they should be.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what people think about this move. Um
Oh, they hate it, Jaime. As they're gonna hate
yeah.
any player going to MLS,
I don't know, man.
which has been happening since the league. When the league started, the league brought in Campos. They brought pretty much a lot of the big names. Hugo
Cuau-
Sanchez. Hugo Sanchez
Cuauhtémoc,
came. Cuauhtémoc
uh,
Blanco, Claudio Suarez,
Carlos
Rafa
Hermosillo,
Marquez.
Luis
Dude,
Hernandez,
Luis Hernandez, the list goes on, man. Misael Espinosa,
and then
which was big Chiva player. Um,
the whole Chivas USA project, pobrecitos.
Ramon Ramirez,
Valencia,
dude, Ramon Ramirez,
Cubo
Valencia.
Torres,
So stop crying, man. It's
Loco
it's it's
Garcia.
been it's been happening for a long time. Just walk it off. It's gonna keep happening. As long
Yeah,
as this league offers money, you're gonna keep seeing. We are gonna keep seeing more and more players going. And again, I'm saying, dude, it's up to the player, man. If you
yeah, it is.
take it serious, you do your shit, you're not gonna suck. Cuauhtemoc Blanco came to the fire, and then he didn't suck, dude. He went back to MLS. I mean, to Liga MX, and he still, still did
Yeah,
shit. So went to Selección and still did, rescued Selección. So it's this whole, oh, you come in and it's like you automatically
I
suck.
I
I
do
don't I don't buy it, dude.
I do think it's interesting though that um again, like going back to Guardado, didn't he just recently like talk about and criticizing the Mexican player for, being complacent? And then what does Herrera do? He's like, "Hey, bro,
Yeah,
unless you're paying my bills, stay out of my business."
but he's 31. I agree to a certain point,
Uh-huh.
but he's 31. I mean, what is there for him left to do? You know, and it's like, how long has he been abroad?
I just felt like
Sometimes you're like,
I felt like he was doing a great thing over there in Porto, and I did think that he deserved to go to a bigger club. Um, and I feel like he's selling himself short. I felt the same way about Chicharo. I think like 6 months at Sevilla just wasn't enough time for him to make a decision to go retire. And I think with Herrera, I think he could have gone to another club in Europe and still be top, still be on top. But it's hard to break into Atleti. It's not an easy. It's one of the best clubs in Spain. So it's unfortunate that he's going to go from that to Houston.
well, for fans, not for him.
Yeah, I
Seriously,
mean,
man, we there's stuff we don't take into consideration because we just watch him on TV once a week.
maybe he's got
You
more
know,
plastic surgery coming, and he's got to
he
he's got to pay for it.
no, but he's probably like, all right, I'm done living on this side of the world. If I'm in Houston, I'm what 2 hours? Where is he from? Do you know where he's from? Where his
Herrera,
family's from?
I think he was from. I want to say Tijuana. I could be wrong.
Let's see. Let's ask
He is,
Wikipedia.
yeah, he's from Tijuana.
Yeah. So how far could that be? Houston to TJ flight?
Yeah. he
And does his family still live in Tijuana?
I would hope not, but yeah.
Who knows? They could live in the balling ass section.
You know, it's kind of side note here, has nothing to do with soccer, but I was in San Diego for the weekend and I took a lot of Ubers and Lyfts. Actually, I took only Lyfts because I guess their headquarters is out there. And a lot of these drivers live in Tijuana, but they work in San Diego.
Oh damn.
They said that they pay $450 of rent every month. So yeah, I don't blame people for moving to Tijuana and living there and then making a living in San Diego. It's pretty crazy.
I'm seeing here that Houston to Mexico City is 2 hours and 30 minutes.
No way.
Yeah,
Are you talking about
this
like
internet's lying
flying?
to me. Yeah,
Oh, flying, of course. I thought you meant driving. I'm like, ain't no way, dude.
here it says flight time from Houston, Texas to Tijuana. 3 hours, dude. 3 hours, 5 minutes.
Driving
No, no, no. Flights.
from Houston to TJ?
That's what I'm getting, man.
I don't know about that one, dog.
And
That,
this website's lying to me.
that seems kind of off.
Let me see. I'm in kayak now.
Then again, Houston is pretty. Oh, that's right, because they're on the opposite sides. Yeah, you're closer to Nuevo Leon. Yeah, I forget about that. Yeah, no, that sounds about right. It's pretty far, dude. Houston is closer to like Nuevo Leon and Monterrey and stuff.
This thing says it's 6 hours. TJ to Houston. I don't know. That seems too long.
It's
And I've seen some.
1,500
I'm seeing.
miles.
I'm seeing 3 to 6 hours, but I don't. I don't. Someone's lying to me. Unless these are the cheap flights.
uh,
He's going on the.
Volaris, where you got to get off twice.
Yeah, he's going on his private jet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good for the city of Houston. I really can't name a player right now from Houston Dynamo. I know that at one point they did have Cubo Torres. Um, and I know that they have a pretty suspect management right now. But they don't have any Mexicans on the team right now. That's weird. You would think there'd be at least one. Yeah.
Hmm.
They're
Yeah, well,
they have
he'll
a
be closer to home, man. He's, you know,
and I mean most of the partidos moleros are over there anyway, so he's gonna feel right at home. He doesn't even have to get on a flight. um but yeah, I feel like ever since he got the plastic surgery, his performance has gone. I missed the ugly one. I missed the OG Herrera. He was, I read something that because his ears used to stick out pretty bad, and obviously with the plastic surgery, they're all tucked in now, and they're saying that he can't read the field now anymore because he doesn't have like the signal that he was getting
he's
from his
missing his
ears.
radar.
His radar.
Man, damn.
Oh man.
No, I think, and we've talked about this a lot here, how there are players that after they retire, you know, their savings dry up because it's like, okay, what are they going to do? Not everyone can go into broadcasting or coaching. It's a very small amount of players that end up being able to do that. You know, there's hundreds of players, so not just every player is gonna slide in. So yeah, these guys need to think of, okay, it's I have what he's thinking. Maybe have 4 years left of playing. If I could accumulate this much,
I'm curious to see how much they offered him. Because I'm sure he wasn't
well,
making
like
pennies at Atleti. I'm sure he was making a decent. I mean, he's been established in Europe, so
in fight.
I'm sure he's not like. I don't know. I'm curious to see how much Houston's offering him.
Well, these guys, they upwards of 5 million,
I believe
right?
it.
Because I think Chicha and Vela were making like 7, so he could easily be getting that.
Yeah, yeah. They're
I mean, 4 years, that's like 20 million, dude. I mean, Ah, snap. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'd be like, you know that meme with Jordan and it says fuck them kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like fuck them fans. Dude, 20 million to fuck, I don't cry all you want, dude. I'm sleeping.
I
I'm gonna
mean,
have him like I'm gonna have him in dollars and then just under my mattress.
I don't blame the players that went to go play in China because I mean that was just stupid money that they were throwing them. I mean, it was just stupid money. I think Oscar's still out there.
Damn. Yeah, Brazilian international.
I mean, this dude was. I think he was making 500 500,000 a week. A
I
week.
saw this. How much?
500,000 a week. A week, dude.
Damn. Dude, lighting a cigarette with $100 bills,
Bro.
wiping his ass. Shit. Yeah, dude, I'll do some stupid shit with that money. At least for a little. At least for a little bit, dude. At least for a little bit. And that's some crazy money. You could do all type of crazy
20
shit.
he's making he's making 20 almost 30 million a year, dude, in China.
To kick a ball,
I
dude.
remember Tevez did that and they were like hating on him bad.
They don't give a shit. Fucking. He has that fucking car garage with the elevator. He could just, what car does he want? Yeah, nah, dude.
Wow, Carlos Tevez was making 800,000 a week and over 40 million a year in China.
El Apache. He deserves it, man. Did you see his
Wow.
Netflix? Is pretty good. I
Oh
need
yeah,
to
yeah,
see the
yeah.
second part. I don't. It was. Did it ever come out?
I didn't know if they made a second. I just saw the first. It was just like the one season. I didn't know they made a second one.
Yeah, there was. I'm pretty sure there was going to be because he didn't get to play selección.
Yeah, no, I haven't
Or
seen
go
it.
to Europe. He was just playing in Boca, I think. But yes, if you guys haven't seen it, I recommend it. The Tevez. It's in Spanish. I recommend Spanish with the English subtitles. Um, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Apache: The Life of Carlos Tevez. It's just one season.
I thought there was gonna be two, but maybe they just didn't make it.
Not sure, but I did enjoy it. It was nice. Um, so yeah, I'm curious to know what our listeners think about the move. I'm not surprised. I will say that for every player that joins the MLS, we need to export two to Europe. You know, if we can continue that ratio, we'll be okay. But if we're starting to see a lot of players from Europe start going to MLS, we're gonna have issues, man.
Well, see, yeah, the concern should be why, you know, see, Chivas should have that type of money where they could bring H back.
Yeah, and I think people would still hate. They would still be like, "Oh,
Yeah, I
look
don't
at
give a
him going."
unless you're from that club.
Yeah,
Unless you're from that club, then you wouldn't care.
you bring up a good point. You're telling me a Rayados or a Tigres or an America can't throw stupid
Well,
money at them.
America should be able to. I think the other teams are already stacked, but I do think
I
they
think
can.
I think it's a
I
slap
think
to
they
the
can, but
face to like Liga MX. Like, yo, what? You
I
could.
didn't hear of any Liga MX going after them.
I don't even
Going
know.
after him.
I don't even know if that was an. I don't know if any club in Mexico can throw that kind of salary at him.
Yeah, Tigres, Monterrey. I'm not sure America now. In the past, they were the balling ones, but that hasn't been the case for a while. But definitely, probably Cruz Azul, those three teams, I do think they can. But at the same time, they're already stacked. I mean, Monterrey broke their bank with bringing in Aguirre, and they brought in a couple other guys.
Yeah, they did the
So
trade
they're
with Cruz Azul. They got Romo. Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Yeah, and before that they had brought some Argentine, right? Maximiliano or what
Yep.
was that dude's name? Um, and then Tigres, they have Guignac who's earning that much, and then they brought the other guy earning about the same, the
Dalvin.
other French guy. Has he been playing, dude? I
Yeah,
haven't heard his
he's
name.
been playing now. He's definitely having a better season than his first season. But
So I mean, yeah, I
Tigres
think
is just stacked right now,
they're
man.
maxed, but I think they're maxed out those teams, which is why they wouldn't offer. But I do think Chivas should be on the fold,
One of the best.
and
One of
but
the
they're not, and they
Yeah,
haven't.
yeah. Chivas can't afford to even buy a coach right now. That's why we have Leaño. But
They keep finding their good coaches, man. Or
we have Conca Champions next week, starting on Tuesday, with Leon and Seattle. So we'll see if the Mexican tradition can continue of winning this trophy. We've been doing it for the last feels like 20 years. This season I feel a little bit shaky though. We'll see if Leon, Pumas, or Cruz Azul can keep it going. Pumas play against New England. Cruz Azul plays against Montreal, and then we do have I think a Guatemalan team, Comunicaciones versus New York City. So those are the Conca Champions matches, and then we have obviously Liga MX, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes this weekend for Michel Leaño. He could be on the hot seat. Chivas have to play against Santos, who had a very dramatic game against Pumas tonight. Ended up winning 3-2. So we'll have to see what happens there. I feel like Chivas always struggle against Santos. I'm not feeling very confident.
That's right, and Santos coming from a win.
And
They beat Pumas.
yeah, and then you have the two worst teams in the league, Rayados versus America. Uh, that'll be fun to see Vucetic's debut. And
And he probably debuted against a interim coach because that's what word out of Coapa that they're going to most likely hire interim and then bring a coach for to finish the season. I mean to start the season. So I'm not sure yet.
yeah, I'm curious to see if they'll go pull from the carousel or if they'll try to import somebody from a different country. We'll see. There's a lot of coaches right now on the chopping block. Um, yeah, there's really not too many games that stick out this weekend. Cruz Azul Puebla should be good. That's on Saturday. And Pachuca versus Tigres. That will be a good one for sure.
Which one?
Pachuca versus Tigres.
Yeah, that should be a good one.
But yeah, those are match week 7 and 8 results. Do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap up episode 325?
Just that you know, the whole just because you come to a changed league that like you're gonna suck. And if you suck, is more to do with who you are as a player than just the league. I think if you continue being a professional, you know, playing good, I do think that you could still go on and maintain a high level. But I think it's your mentality. I'm gonna say that it's more to do with you know if you let the fans, the media get to your head and saying that you threw the towel, that you retired. I think that's what happened with Chicharo, where when he was crying, he sort of exposed himself or exhibited himself, and the media and fans just jumped on him and he sort of like struggled. He seems to be doing really good now, and people are in his nuts and calling him for the national team.
He
And
scored the he scored the game winner.
it looks like, to me, it's like, looks hypocritical, you know. Oh yeah, you suck if you go to MLS, but and then it's like, oh no, Chicharo, we need you. It's like, dude, make it, you know, if dude, make up your mind, man. If he sucks, then let him suck
Yeah.
there. And um, so but that's the thing, you know. He scored, and he was scoring through preseason where he scored like a hat trick, and it was some nice goals. One of them where he just murdered a player, man. Um, he did the scabbard. He didn't look like Chicharo at all, dude. He looked like Messi esque. Um, but yeah, I do feel that's what it is. It's you're able to stay with that mentality. Like Vela, he gave zero fucks, dude. You know, he had a pocket full of fucks. He still wouldn't give one, and he's, they're falling, and he's like, I don't care. I don't care. You know, I don't think he even listens to what the media says, and he's just killing it. And again, fans are in his nuts, and then they don't care that he's with LAFC or whatever. So I do think that's what it is. If Herrera maintains that professional level, maintains his level of play, I think he could continue doing good in the selección. I don't see it like he's gonna drop 10 points as he changed league.
We'll have to see. Ironically, this move benefits him because in the summertime is when the season's over for every club except for MLS. MLS is actually still going in the summertime, so he'll be in form, because the World Cup's not going to
Should
happen
be.
until December.
Yeah, he'll be informed, and let's see what happens at Atleti. Word is that he's just been getting playing time because the other guys are injured.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. Now that he's sold, I really doubt he's going to be getting PT. And that's the other thing sometimes when the offers come. Coach could be like, I could use you, or you're in my plans for next season. Chances are it's like, you know what, you're not in our plans.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to come in on a Saturday. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. You get the wrong kind of manager and all goes to shit. But we will catch you guys next week on episode 326. I definitely want to hear what you guys think of Ache Ache going to Dynamo, and if you guys agree with all the coaches getting fired. And I also want to know, what are the odds? What are the chances of Loco Biesla returning to Mexico? I think it's not happening. I think that the Mexican press would just not allow him to do his job. But I know that there's this obsession with him and this romance with him in Mexico. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with Marcelo Biesla.
You want him, huh, Jaime?
Uh, I
You
don't.
want him
I don't
for the
see.
selección.
Nah, not at all. I don't think he would do a good job. I would love him
Who
at
knows, man?
Chivas, but I would love him as not a coach, but like a head of youth, kind of like how he was at Atlas.
No, he was the coach.
But I thought he was responsible for,
Oh, he was, because he likes to do like a full takeover, like,
yeah,
sort of similar to Ferguson. He called the shots top to bottom. But yeah, he came in, and that's what he does. Where he always likes to do like a revamp of the youth, and because he likes to, you know, get some of that talent. He likes to find talent. Um, so I do, but see, like on that note, I would hire him just for that.
yeah, exactly.
I would say, do you want to like work on our youth thing? You don't have to be there. He could have his people just report to him, but because he had a system that he used in Argentina where they would like put scouts in different cities and just to scout certain areas. And when, like, it's how they ended up finding players in remote areas, but it might not work as well now because more Liga MX teams sort of like, you know, started doing that. Maybe not exactly like that, but just, you know, extending their grasp. Where before you kind of had to travel, like, and I'm going way, way, way back. So if you played in a small town and outside of the big soccer cities, you had to travel to one of those bigger cities to try to be seen, to try out at teams that could, uh, where you would get seen by the bigger teams as well. I don't think that's so much, it's not to that point anymore.
Mm.
But still, I mean, not just the scouting, but also like training methods and whatnot.
Yeah, we'll see what the future holds for him and for Michele Leano. But want to thank everyone for the ongoing support and a special appreciation to the Liga MX subreddit. Those guys are always very political with their with their takes. But yeah,